Yeah, g'day, Carl. Congratulations on the win. You've got your first 3 points now of the season. Importantly, a clean sheet. Second half that pleased you the most?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I'll have to watch it back again. You know, I said to the boys, we started slow last week, you know, in the first 30 minutes, and we're a goal behind. Probably should have been 2 goals. You can't start games of football like that, especially against Wellington. We knew it would be a tough game because the way they play. So I challenged the boys to stay in the game and win the individual battles, and they did. Second half, then I think it opened up a little bit. Obviously, we got our noses in front and then played a lot more, played with a bit more confidence, enjoyment, obviously, and had a little bit more control in the match. So pleased for the boys. They put a lot of work in tonight, as they have in the first 3 games of the season, but it's always nice to get your first win, as you know.
A very tight defensive performance tonight. How much of that was from the lessons that you learnt against the Jets? It probably wasn't the best defensive performance, not like this week, or was a lot of it from the training ground this week as well?
Yeah, a little bit of both, to be honest. You know, obviously they play a different shape. They play similar to Sydney, you know, with a 4-4-2, with the, you know, we all know the rhythms that they have and the phases that they play. Different to Newcastle, who played a 4-3-3. So we had to adjust a few things. We did. We went with a different dynamic in midfield to try and block up spaces. And it worked. Like you said, they cut us through a few times, and obviously had a couple of chances, which, you know, in any game of football that teams are going to have. But when they get through, it's important you recover, you track back, and it's important you defend your box. And that's one thing I thought we did excellently again tonight. We did it well last week against Newcastle, to put our bodies on the line, because you've got to do that. Defending is an art. Defending, you've got to enjoy defending, you've got to smile, you've got to high-five each other when you make blocks and tackles, and you've got to take one sometimes where you don't want to take one. I thought we'd done that today.
Hey Carl, congratulations on the win, mate. I'm just thinking, given the first 2 weeks, you kept a clean sheet, 2-0 win. Are you looking at this as a springboard after those first kind of 2 weeks where you said you were disappointed in how the guys played?
Well, again, don't take my words literally. I was disappointed with how the boys played in some phases of the game. Yeah. In the first 30 minutes last week, we weren't at the races. We know that, and you can't do that. The last 60 minutes, I thought we were in a lot more control, played our stuff, obviously scored a couple of goals as well, and should have scored probably more. But I think today was all about rolling your sleeves up and fighting and competing, which we did. And then as the times, arose, then you play your football. But we didn't want to, we like to build, we like to play from the back, but we also know that they like to press from the front. And that is one trigger for them, that they do press. So we just took it out of their hands, and we went long from goal kicks. That won't happen next week. I'll change it up again. We changed formation again this week. We went to a 4-3-3 rather than or a 4-1-4-1 rather than a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, so a 4-2-3-1. So don't get caught up in formations. Don't get caught up in things like that. It's little adjustments within the game, depending on the personnel and the team we're playing, which play different formations as well.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
New Zealand, have you guys got any questions?
Yeah, Carl, Andrew Vorman here from Stuff in New Zealand. Tommy Hemed's blatantly fouled Callum Elliott before that goal. How does it feel to have gone ahead for a goal that shouldn't have stood?
Hi, Andrew. Well, I haven't, again, it's not the adage of a manager saying he's blatantly fouled. I've not seen it. Literally, actually, as he scores, or in what phase?
Over and then the ball, and then he goes into the goalkeeper, and then the goalkeeper misses the ball.
He pushed him like that with his hands, like you showed me, did he?
He's pushed him like that.
Right, okay. Well, listen, I don't know if he's pushed him, then obviously it's one that has been missed. But, sometimes you get given and sometimes you don't. I think there was 3 instances with Bernie Ibini in the first half where he's running down the line and the fullback, apparently Bernie pushed him. It's not a foul. He's fallen over on the ball, and I think 2 or 3 times that happened. So whether that has had an impact in the game or swayed it, sometimes you get given, sometimes you don't. When you do, as a manager, you're happy, and when you don't, clearly you're not happy. But you can complain about anything in life if you want, but I don't.
Yeah, I guess you mentioned, you could have been 2 or so behind, for your side to be able to hang in there and then to get a moment like that, it shows how important it was to, persist and to still be alive in the game.
Yeah, I don't think we should be too behind this game. I thought that was last game. I thought, obviously, they had their chance with the offside goal. I believe it was offside. when the centre forward put the ball in the back of the net. Obviously, you need a little bit of luck sometimes when you're defending. If that goes in, it changes the dynamic of the game for sure. The first goal in any game is very important, but it's important you don't lose your emotional control, you know, as a manager as well as players, and you've got to just be calm and let the players play. The players play the game, you know. So we've done our work Monday to Friday, obviously Monday to Thursday today. The players have just performed on Friday, and they executed a fantastic away performance, keeping a clean sheet and scoring 2 wonderful goals, even though I'm surprised where the second goal come from and who scored.
And just on Tommy, you know, obviously he's a former Phoenix player. You've picked him up this season. How are you liking what you're seeing from him so
Brilliant guy. He's exactly what he says he is. He's genuine, he's honest, he's humble, he's got so much humility, he's professional, he's a leader. We're very, very lucky to have him. Like Wellington were lucky to have him last year, you know, but whenever it's normal in football that players play against their old clubs, and as centre forwards you want to score against your old clubs and that lot. You know, obviously Wellington are disappointed tonight. I'm delighted for the Wanderers fans who travelled down in the thousands that Toma gets his goal. Although you say it's a foul, I'll take the goal. But we're lucky we won 2-0 then, aren't we? So that might not count.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, no problem, Andrew.
Any final
Carl,
questions,
just
guys?
on Jack Rodwell, he got through 82 minutes. What did you make of his performance, and where's he at?
Yeah, really strong, to be fair. You know, I got asked that in the first 2 games about when is he going to play. I think everyone wants to watch him play. He's a terrific player. We all know about his pedigree. You know, the challenge was, when do you throw him in? Do you throw him in too early and he picks up, you know, an injury and then you miss him for a couple of games? I didn't want to do that, you know, so he's trained hard. But I just felt it was the right game. The dynamic of the game was going to be right for Jack. But how I thought the flow would go, it did. Obviously, he got a knock early in the game. I think then it would have been easy just to bring him off and be very, very safe, but he got through it. So sometimes players need to get through the mental side of it as well. He got through it, but at 80 minutes he told me he wanted to come off. And when a player says that, you have to, you know, trust them. They know their body. You know, I trust my players, and when they say they've had enough. Same with Toma. Toma was carrying a little bit of cramp in his calf in the last 5 minutes, but I needed him to get through. And then when the second goal went in, I took him off. So very strong performance, not just by him, but the 2 midfield players with him, Terry, who also was getting up to speed, and Stevie. I thought they were excellent in there against a very good Wellington midfield.
All good, guys? Thank you very much.
Just one last one, mate. You've got the FFA Cup on
We have.
Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to be making mass changes, or are there some guys you want to see more of? You know, what's the situation there?
Well, we've got a very good squad. I've got tremendous faith in my young players, I think, as you know. So some of the younger players will play, for sure. It's a game we've got to take very seriously, and we will. So you're not going to see totally wholesale changes. You will see a lot of changes. I say a lot, you know, one hand maybe, or a little bit more than one hand. So you can work that one out. But you know, I've got my goalkeeper will change. I'll play Margs. You know, he's been very patient in the first 3 games. He deserves to play. And there's other players that come on subs here that will play as well. But that's why you have a squad. It's a really tricky game for us, but it's an important game that we need to go and win because we want to get through that round.